For Northwestern State head coach Rick Cabrera, the Demons start a 3-game Southland Conference road trip with 2 this weekend at Stephen F. Austin and at Lamar. And Coach, will jump right into the SFA matchup. Some news out of Nacogdoches yesterday, so maybe a little change. Kyle Keller's out, Tony Jasic's in. Probably doesn't change a whole lot of what you do preparing for the Lumberjacks.
No, Kyle's a good friend, as well as Tony. So, I feel awful for them. But, we got to play a basketball game. Tony has great experience, been a head coach for 10 years. I don't envision him changing too much up. One of the best defensive teams in the country. Struggling a little bit offensively, but they're very capable of winning ball games. And hopefully this doesn't inspire them to start playing better.
Yeah, teams can typically go one of 2 ways when this happens, and one thing I don't think will change is they're pretty physical. They're going to press. They're going to be up in your face, and you got a little taste of that against New Orleans, so maybe a little bit easier transition.
Yeah, I told our guys, I said this is the most physical team that you're going to play, and that's including high majors. That's been Kyle's staple since he's been a head coach. And we have to have just as much as physicality as they have. I don't ever like to match anybody else's physicality. I want them to match ours. So, our assistant coaches are doing a great job of showing film, so they can understand what they're going to be in for on the defensive end.
Do you feel your team has hit that level of physicality that you want from a game in, game out basis?
We have our moments. Like when we're tough and get after it, and then we have our moments where sometimes we're not a ball club that I know of coaching. We just have to get better and be more consistent at being physical and being tough, being disciplined. But we'll get there. We're getting there.
Been good on the road in conference, 2-1 so far. Maybe a stretch that you'll find out a little bit more, 3 straight on the road. But for this team, the last couple of games, the first half, the starts haven't been there. It's been at home, so you do feel like there's a natural inclination to come back and maybe shake off a bad start. How important is it to maybe flip the script on these road games and start quickly?
Yeah, to be a good team in this league, you got to win road games. And, so far, we've done those things. And even in the non-conference, we've played well on the road, not completely 40 minutes. But we showed spurts where we can play, in a different atmosphere and not necessarily be affected by it. But we just have to just continue to focus on us. Sometimes we get so caught up in the opponent, which is natural because it's part of scouting. But we got to focus on doing things that we do correctly on a consistent basis, and then we can focus on the opponent's your personnel and offensive set. So being out of our comfort zone is fine for us. I don't expect any different effort being on the road. I love road games. Our guys like road games, and we're going to go out to win this one.
You're going to wrap up the first half of conference play Monday down at Lamar, and that's a team that's right in there. There are 7 teams right now that are 5-3 or better in this league, so not a lot of separation just yet, but these are the kind of games that you get into where you can make a little separation when you face one of those teams that's in that jumble with you.
Yeah, look, Lamar's a really good team. They're having a great year this year. They just went into Nichols and won. Coach Brooks has done a phenomenal job. They pressed, they're physical as well. You're really good in the half court on both ends of the floor. I tell our guys it's a possession game, right? Like we're 1 possession, 2 possessions away from being tied for second. If we clean up a couple things in that Sela game, we're tied for second right now. So they got to understand the importance of going on the road, and Lamar's a really good team that has size, has good guard play. So it's going to be a fun matchup for us.
You hit on it, I think, with 2 of these teams. Obviously, Stephen F. and Lamar both pressing, both want to cause turnovers. Valuing possessions comes down to it. You hit on it. 1 or 2 can make the difference in a pivotal game.
Yeah, I tell these guys every day, man, we got to be able to handle physicality, traps a lot better, be tough. There's times I do question our toughness. And, when it comes to being, against presses like that. So, now there have been times where we handled it really well. So that's the consistency part that like I've been talking about. We'll get there. That's why, in sports we're allowed to practice, we're allowed to coach, and it's my job and my staff's job to get our players better.
And you don't necessarily want to peak too early in the season, but also this is probably the point where you get to that second half of conference where you do want to be on that upward plane.
Yeah, no doubt, man. We got 13 conference games. Obviously, we take one game at a time, and in every game that we play, I feel that we could win, and it's always a possibility that we could lose. This conference is really good, top to bottom. But we got to be locked in, man. One thing about teams, the good teams, in late January, early February, if they're not ready for the season to be over, then you got a chance to win. If they like coming to practice, and you got a chance to win. If they like being coached and getting better, you got a chance to win. And so far, my guys are like that, and I'm going to make sure they sustain that.
Coach, as always, appreciate your time.
I appreciate it.